Greetings, users and programs. This is Etari Living Sacrifice, and today I'm going to go over how to win every single Mining Monday SLB from Ops 23 to Ops 29. I have not lost a single one so far. We plan on keeping it that way. I don't know how long these strategies will work. This is one of my worst weeks, actually, because I forgot to do a major thing that I'm about to go over here in a little bit. First thing I'm gonna do this in order. So if you, I'll put some timestamps in the bottom so you can figure out, you can look at it to whatever ops level you're at. Starting Ops 23. Starting Ops 23. Once you hit Ops 23, you can actually participate in Mining Mondays. For Mining Mondays, but for Ops 23 to 24, your SLB is a little different, because what happens is for your ALB, a lot of your alliance members will be like, no, you need to mine tier 5 stuff. Okay, well, first off, because that's the highest scoring points thing versus tier 4. But unfortunately, for 23, Ops 23 and 24, for your SLB, tier 4 mats, tier 4 ore, tier 4 crystal, tier 4 gas will be your highest scoring thing that you can do, except for Latinum. However, I think for Latinum you get like 250 points per Latinum that you acquire during Mining Monday. However, since you just hit Ops 23, more than likely you don't, unless you spend money, you do not have access to a Devourer. You're probably still trying to get blueprints for it. You're probably still building it, you know, so your first week or 3, maybe longer, you won't even have a Devourer. And some of you will not even have access to Alliance territory. So how do you get access to oh wow, the game is so laggy I can't even see the territory. How do you get access to tier 4 and tier 5 stuff if you don't have an Alliance access to Alliance tournament? No, let me rephrase that. How do you win if you don't have access to tier 4 and tier 5 and all that, to Alliance territory resources? Because first off, you mine faster in Alliance territory, so that's nice. And if you have a high-powered Alliance, you have access to tier 4, tier 3, tier 4 and tier 5 mats in territory as well. That's actually, for Ops 23 and 24, is not as important as you think. However, I will mention that because there are some things you can do to help set yourself up for success. The first thing you need to do, how to win Mining Monday, is actually preparation the night before or the morning of. So what I do, whatever my highest point scoring thing was at the time for Ops 23 and 24, I had access to tier 4 mats. So what I did was I first off, I had whatever my max number of ships. I want to say I had 3 slots at the time at Ops 23. It could just have been 2. It might have just been 2. Whatever that number was, I had 2 of my, I think it was envoys at the time. That's probably what you have access to. Because like I said, your Devourer hasn't been built yet. So what I did was, the night before, I went and maxed out as many envoys, or whatever my strongest mining ship was at the time. And the night before, I would put them on these tier 4 nodes. So that way, once, for me, the event starts at 1 o'clock. Once 101, or once the second I see that event roll over, I would keep my miners on those nodes filled up, jam-packed completely until the second that the event started. And then I would, and then if you'll notice, like over here, if you'll notice, I score. I score the second I come off the node. That's when I score. Okay, so it's not while you're mining. It's what you have in your inventory when you get off the node. Okay, Now that is true for mats. That is not true for the Latinum. Latinum, if you have to actually bring it back to your base for it to officially count for points. Okay, so that's the first step. The preparation the night before will get you an insane number of points. Now, at Ops 23 and 24, that is a great like baseline. Like you'll get a lot of steady points. You can set yourself up for like a big jump at the beginning. And you should still keep 1 or 2, or if you have 3 slots, keep 1 on tier 4 and just constantly getting that steady flow of points by all means. However, for Ops 23 and 24, the way I got so many points, I wish I could find, in fact, I will try to find, let me see if I can find one of my highest scoring. So I found this pick. So I was able to score almost 500,000 points without a Devore. I have no idea how this guy did it. He hasn't really been keeping up with me ever since. But another week of number 1 in my bracket without a Devore. So I've had multiples where I'm scoring crazy points and these are Ops 23 and 24 picks, okay? How did I score so much at Ops 23 and 24? Well, the Devore in particular has a new... I was pretty lucky because the week I hit Ops 23 was when the Devore had its new update, and we believe it's in the archives. I'm not 100% sure where it says. They keep telling me it's something that says in the archives, but I don't see anything. Bonus mining. Oh, Latinum mining bonus. Maybe that's what it is when you come off the node. But let me getting ahead of myself. So with the Devore, I'll show you. Let me just find a spot. Okay, so with the Devore, if you see right now, I have 37-ish, let's call it 38,000 by the time I get there, 39,000. When I come off the node, I'm gonna come off the node and look how much it pulls off. It immediately tripled or doubled or whatever the math works out to. So now, and that happens, that's triggered because of that mining bonus that's in the archives. That's in the Devore archive. That's a bonus for you coming off the node. Now here's the crazy thing. That works if you attack like this guy right here. He is 0 node. He's on a 0 node and he's UPC. On my server, if somebody's on a 0 node, you need to send them a 2-minute warning. If I were hunting right now, what I would do is I would send this guy a 2-minute warning, leave my base, and go hit this guy even though he's got nothing in his cargo, because statistically speaking, if I attack him, it's going to pull him off the node, and very, like 90% chance, maybe higher, 90% chance plus, that when I pull him off that node, bam, he's going to have a full cargo hold because of the mining bonus, and after I beat him, I get all that extra loot. So even if you don't have a Devore yourself, you go around and hunt everybody you can that's on a Z node, or just, I mean, if they're already showing as OPC, go ahead and hit them, because you don't have to wait for them to finish to get a full cargo hold because of that mining bonus that they get from coming off the node. You hit them, and bam, your cargo hold is probably not gonna be able to hold all of the loot that they have made for you, all that Latinum that they have mined for you. Especially at Ops 23, I don't know what your highest. I don't remember what my highest cargo hold on any of my warships was at the time, but that is how on Ops 23 and 24 I won every Mining Monday SLB. Was setting up giving myself a big boost on the tier 4 mats the night before, and then the rest of the day I would go hunting. And it really didn't take that much. Once I realized that, it really didn't take that much hunting to get that. It was maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Like, it wasn't an all-night thing. It wasn't like a constant. I just did it as much as I needed to do to be like double or triple the score of the next person below me, and then I kind of went about my business. Okay, so that is Ops 23 to 24 explanation. Once you hit Ops 25, the rules change. All right, once you hit Ops 25, you no longer, your highest scoring points is no longer tier 4. It is now tier 5 for both the SLB and the ALB. Okay, I say that because because I know there's G6. You're not going to have access to G6. You're not going to, so don't worry about it. All right, and then also, instead of getting 250 points for Latinum, you only get 50 points. So now, even though tier 5 is the highest scoring, I'm going to give you a secret on how to win on tier 3, okay? Once you hit 25, pretty darn soon, you're going, if you didn't immediately have it set up, you're going to get your Vidar. Alright, you're going to want to ops this up as fast as possible because, or level this up as fast as possible, because with the Vidar, you will start leveling this up, and you'll be going to these systems, like more than likely this system right here. These 3 areas right here is where you'll need a token to get in there that you'll get from the Vidar. But you go in here and you view the systems before you pick where to go. Oh, look at that. What I would do is I would look in the system, after I visited the first time, I would look in the system and see these guys right here, assimilated Ferengi traders. Killing those grants you this Latinum Antique. Okay, so before I picked where I was going to go to grind for that token, I would see if there was any Ferengi traders available, so that way I could go to my refinery, go to the Borg Tech, and then I would turn that in here, and every so often I would get a lucrative 3-star trans warp cell. Once you hit 25, you're probably pretty close to building. What ops level can you build Horizons? Is it 27? I can't see it anymore. I'm pretty sure at Ops 27 you will have access to the Horizons. Let me kind of take a step back. So you will want to collect those, turn those in, so that way you can get the tokens you will need to get into this space right here, for example. Alright? These are 3-star. You probably won't be able to do this until you're it probably won't be worth it for you to do this until you're Ops 27. But this is just the thought process, okay? Once you hit Ops 27, you can come in here. Let me try to find a full one. See if there is one. Alright, the most resources this has is 1 million. So if you're only using envoys, don't do this yet. There's better strategies. But once you get your horizons will have more than 1 million cargo space, okay? So what you'll do is send out 1 or 2 of your horizons. Really only need 1, but let's just say 1 or 2 horizons to the million points, to the million slot. And even though you get less points for G3 than you do G5, 1 million versus the max I've seen on G5 and even in territory is 250,000. So 1 million times whatever the number of points is. I did the math the other day. 1 million times 15 is a lot more than 250,000 times 55. Okay. From 25 to 26, it's really about preparation the night before, having the most your biggest cargo ships set out long enough to the point where you can have turned that node from a full node into a Z node, so that way at the start of the event you can immediately pull off with 3 ships, 2 ships, 3 ships, 4 ships, however many you've got, and get that big boost of points. So the way I won is, first off, I'm in a top alliance. I planned that. I made sure I was in a top alliance so I'd have access to this stuff. I don't know. I could win at 23 and 24 and 27 to 29. I could win my ALBs without having access to 5-star. However, but for 25, 26, it's kind of an awkward spot because I don't think I would have been able to win my SLBs without having access to 5-star. So if you have any tips for folks that are 25 and 26, that if you've been able to win your SLBs without having access to 5-star, please share it in the comments below so we can add that for a future video. Another thing you can do, I haven't needed to do this yet, I've been saving these for future, but you can use an exocomp for mining or cargo capacity and stuff like that. So that is something to think about for if you need that, if you don't have access to 5-star. That's another strategy that you might be able to use to help win those SLBs. Why is it so important to win these SLBs? Well, you'll notice I've already got a tier 7 of 9. Yesterday I ops up twice, so I'm ops 29 now, but yesterday I was ops, or 2 days ago I was ops 27. So I did a power leveling during this SLB, but to be ops 27 and have a tier 7 Devore, that's crazy, okay? So you get, for winning the SLBs, I want to say you get 7,000 parts. 7,000 parts. It might have been 6,000 at lower ops levels, but I'm pretty sure it stays the same. But by the time I got my Devore built, I want to say I was ops 25, and I had already won God knows how many SLBs. So I was able, my first day having the Devore, I was able to get it to like tier 3 or 4, almost, maybe even higher. I don't even remember how many I won before I actually built my Devore. And now I don't even hardly use the Devore to win, because you no longer, once you hit 25, it's not the highest scoring. The Latinum is not the highest scoring thing. Now, I will say this. You can access concentrated Latinum, but I don't think this ship mines concentrated Latinum very fast. I think you need the Fuchsia Devore, the next tier of Devore, before that's like feasible, good idea, way to mine concentrated Latinum. The other thing I did, if you put on this crew that I've got here, you can increase your mining range, your warp range. I use this to access little hidey holes of places that other people don't really go to on a regular basis. And also you can put that on your warship, so that way you could go to concentrated Latinum spots. So once you hit 25, if you can get a warship with a high enough range to get to the concentrated lat areas, I know it's tough, but like I said, using that crew, this right now, this crew right here is with Grush. He gives warp range 12%. Cadet Scotty increases the warp distance by 4. And then this guy, what is his name? I forget. Stamets. Stamets increases the warp speed of the ship by 38%, which is nice. But that okay. But these two guys right here, that's how you increase. That's how I increase my warp range, and I'm able to go out and hit. I've been able to go out and hit some folks that are on Z nodes or OPC for concentrated Latinum. I'm sure there's details. I'm sure there's things that I've missed that I just forgot because hitting, you know, Ops 23 and Ops 24, that was months ago at this point. You know, in 25 and 26, there's probably things I did and I just cannot remember the details of how, because I didn't miss a single one. I was a first in my SLB on my server every single week. And I don't see that slowing down because of the preparation and having access to 5-star and all that kind of stuff, having access to territory. I hope this helps. Thank you all for hanging out. As always, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, follow, all that cool stuff you do, whatever platform you're watching on. We will see you on the next one. And remember to keep moving forward. All right, here's a bonus for you that have stuck around this long. I hope the people on my server do not watch this video because this is my little secret hidey hole. I've never seen anybody else in this little secret hidey hole that I'm about to show y'all, okay? Now, this system right here, Suliban, it's very hard to reach at lower ops levels. It is a warp range of 40. Okay, but if you put that crew on that I was talking about, I'm able to get my Devore to this little hidey hole right here. It's got 3 nodes, and so far, every one of them is what I call a shiny node. So I come over here, and it takes half the time to mine with Latinum with this little spot. You've gotta win SLBs so you can tier up your Devore high enough to be able to make it to this spot. But once you do, you know, it's not a lot of points, but if you got, it's not a lot of points, but if you've got a Devore that's high enough and you want to make sure you get enough Latinum for the week, I've never been hit here once. Nobody's ever come and knocked me off. I think I've seen one person here in the weeks that I've been using this spot. And people are in chat right now saying, I honestly completely forget it's there. Exactly, because it's in such a weird place. It's in such a weird spot. But they're all, the nodes here, as far as I've seen, are always shiny nodes, so you mine at double the speed. So, for those of you that stuck around to the end, little extra for you. All right, let's do our things.